We love using queso fresco in our recipes, but we also know it can be hard to find in many places. So today, we're excited to share a simple solution. Make your very own homemade queso fresco. Yeah, baby, it's so easy. We are only using 2 main ingredients, whole milk and vinegar. So let's get right to it. I'm gonna pour 1 gallon of whole milk into a large stainless steel pot. Make sure you get the right milk. We want whole milk, no 2% reduced, not the fat-free kind. We want all of that fat. It's gonna equal flavor and great results. We need to bring the milk up to around 185 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit. We're gonna do this slowly over medium heat. Right now the milk is not hot enough yet, so I can stir occasionally, but once it does get hot, we need to stir constantly. That way the bottom doesn't burn. You also want to avoid boiling the milk. I can see a little bit of foam, some bubbling going on. The milk is already starting to get hot, so we're gonna be glued here. If you have a thermometer that kind of holds to the edge of the pot and just stays there secured, even better because you're able to see as the temperature is going up. But I don't have one of those, and I wish I had one at this point, but we're gonna use my handy one. It works just fine. All right, we are there, 185 degrees Fahrenheit. We're gonna immediately turn off the heat and stir in 2/3 of a cup of white distilled vinegar. I like to do half, get it mixed in there, and then do the other half. You don't need to stir a lot, and you're gonna start to see those curdles begin to form. If you were cooking this on an electric stove, as soon as you turn off the heat, remove that pot from that hot burner because you don't want that milk to continue the cooking process. All right, we're gonna leave this undisturbed for 20 minutes. While we wait, I do wanna talk about the reason why I chose to use white distilled vinegar, and that's because it's gonna give you this really clean flavor and also create these beautiful, firm curds that are perfect for making queso fresco. And to be honest, you cannot taste the vinegar. Nelson and I have talked about this before. It's not there. Unless you're really picky, you might feel it, but other than that, I don't think you can taste it. The other thing is the acidity level is going to be the same every single time, giving you consistent results. And that's what we love, right? We don't want to miss our ingredients. We're gonna end up spending more money. That's never good. Plus, the time you're gonna spend making another batch of queso fresco is not good. So that's why I prefer white distilled vinegar. When it comes to lemon juice, you are gonna be able to taste the flavor. I also find that the curds are smaller, softer, and it's just gonna give you a slightly different texture that, yes, you can make queso fresco. Yes, it's gonna taste good, nothing wrong with lemons, but the acidity level can vary depending on the batch of lemons that you get. Those are just things to consider, but I'm gonna leave a whole bunch of information on villacocina.com so you can read it over. Okay, this right here is good to go. What I have is a large stainless steel bowl, a strainer, and a bag of cheesecloth. You can cut out your own, but I love these little things right here because I can just stuff it, twist it, and squeeze all of that whey out. So I'm just gonna place it inside the strainer. Using a skimmer, we're gonna take a look at this. We've got some beautiful curds, and if you touch it, it should be firm, but still soft. I'm just gonna break it apart and then transfer it inside the cheesecloth. Okay, I'm gonna close it. I think we've got most of it out. And this is the tricky part because that cheese is still going to be hot. So what I like to do is wear kitchen gloves that are gonna diffuse some of that heat. But if not, I'm just gonna let this cool down slightly so that I can work with it. I just did a couple of minutes, and during that time, it's been straining as well. So what I like to do is twist. Oh yeah, I can handle a little bit more. But once that whey starts to come through, you're gonna feel the heat a little bit, but I can handle it. And another great thing you can do is, once you have it squeezed, just press down because you do wanna remove most of that whey. Transfer it into a large bowl because we need enough room to knead all of those curds. At this point, just break it apart and be careful because that center can still be hot. Now let's season to taste. I'm going to be using table salt because it's going to be able to distribute well into the cheese, flavor it, you know, the whole deal. Using your hands, knead it in, making sure everything is well distributed, and you break those curds apart. For a crumbly cheese, do about 2 minutes. For a creamier cheese, I'd say 4 to 5 minutes. It just depends on how hard or how much pressure you're putting into that cheese. It crumbles, look at that. And then when you press on it, it gets this smooth consistency, meaning that you're gonna be able to mold it beautifully. I'm gonna be using a round glass container and squeeze all of that wheat out from the cheesecloth you were using. And this is what I'm using to line the container so that we can remove the cheese easily once we molded it. Now, take that cheese in sections and press it down, mold it. By doing this in batches, it allows me to press down and get this firmer, more compressed shape. We used to buy the cheese from the guy who drove around town in a truck with baskets of cheese wrapped in banana leaves. My favorite part was requesón. But queso fresco was definitely the favorite one in the house. Everybody loved it. And obviously it's a classic in Mexican cuisine. I'm just gonna finish it off by pressing it down with a glass. I'm gonna wrap the cheese in banana leaves, which I've already prepped. All I did was blanch them or completely cover them in hot boiling water. Just leave them in there for about 30 seconds to a minute. Rinse them under cold water, pat them dry, and here we are. Now, if you don't have banana leaves, you can just use parchment paper, but I was able to find them at my local Mexican store, and that's always a plus for me. Using the smooth side, overlap 2 of the leaves, and then make a cross. Unmold the cheese. I'm just gonna pull it out of this container carefully. Obviously, it's a little more on the crumbly side, so you just gotta treat it with care. You're gonna flip it. You can still mold it just in case you get a few crumbles in there. Oh my goodness. Does this look like queso fresco to you or what? Overlap the leaves so that we can close it up. Okay, now take a piece of plastic wrap. It is tightly wrapped because we don't want any odor or additional moisture going into this cheese. Now all that's left to do is place this in the fridge and let it sit there for about 8 hours before digging into it. And what did you think? I was going to wait 8 hours? No, my friends, I made one yesterday. It is ready to be enjoyed. This is like opening up a present, Nelson. That's what it feels like.
Like opening up a big tamal.
Yes, actually, yes. We're making a small incision. Perfect every single time. Oh, I can see crumbly already in there. It is perfect for tortas, taquitos dorados, gorditas, enchiladas, sopes, you name it. All of those Mexican dishes you love with queso fresco. And look how it crumbles. I'm gonna get the whole piece.
Well, I was about to.
He was about to leave me with none.
Can you imagine this cheese with a freshly made corn tortilla? That would be the dream.
All the tools are here. Via Cocina. I even have a video tutorial on how to make freshly made corn tortillas, you guys.
Yes. This is expensive queso fresco, and you probably only spent about $7. Well,
Yeah, even less. If you consider, I mean, I guess you're counting the vinegar, but I have some left over. I can make another 3 cheeses. You're so good.
Yeah.
You have to make it. All right, I really hope you enjoyed it. The full printable recipe is on
ViaCocina.com.
Yes, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and also ring that notification bell, okay? All right, until the next one, bye everyone.
Bye everyone.